Welcome back to Hippie Harvest Homestead. I'm Farah. It's been a long time since we did a video. We've been working really hard over the winter to get ready for this upcoming gardening season. So I thought it was a good time to do a video to kind of show you guys what we've been up to. We're planting over 100 new varieties of produce and flowers this year. And we're actually selling our started plants and fresh cut flowers along with our eggs and produce this year, so we have a lot going on. And we actually have quite a bit downstairs in our grow room that I'd love to show you guys. And also I want to take you down to the coop, show you a couple of issues that we're working on and how we're fixing them. And also, I wanted to go over with you guys seed variety. I'm not going to show you all 100, but I think there's definitely some standouts there that you guys would be interested in seeing. So let's get started. Hey Jay, what you got going on there?
Oh, I'm just gathering
Go bust you.
onions.
Oh, onions.
Cut.
Alright, so I'm out here in the coop, and I wanted to just bring up a couple of issues that we were having out here, in case you run into them yourselves. One was we weren't getting as many eggs as we had been getting, and I knew something was kind of going on because we had new layers, and typically once they start laying, they don't just stop laying, you know, right after. So I kind of thought that was a little strange. And the other thing was we had a lot of cracked eggs. So what we decided to do was, now I had originally designed a nesting box that I saw online that I really liked. It was a commercial size nesting box. Now, basically the whole length of their building was a nesting box, and it was open. There was no individual nesting boxes. And it rolled out, and I thought this would be perfect. So I had Tom build it, and we were having a hard time because it seemed like they weren't laying in there as much. Sometimes they'd lay on the ground, or there just wouldn't be that many eggs, and I thought this is kind of weird. Well, what we ended up finding out was that because we scaled it down to our size flock, the nesting box was still too small, because a one birdie hen getting in there can kick them all out, even if they're not going to the other end of the box. So the other day, Tom came out and he put dividers in, and it worked perfectly because we had tons of eggs, and I think I only found maybe 1 or 2 on the ground. I mean, the last thing you want is your chickens laying eggs on the ground, because eggs on the ground get trampled, they get dirty. So, you know, I was happy to see that. Now, because we're expanding our flock, we are also expanding the nesting boxes, so we'll do the whole wall like that. And the other thing, too, is that we had a lot of cracked eggs, and I decided that maybe we didn't have enough calcium in their diet, so I added extra oyster shell to it, so we get some thicker shells, hopefully. So hopefully that does the trick, because I cannot be breaking 4 to 6 eggs a day simply from them rolling down from the nesting box. That's crazy. So I've seen improvement with that so far, and I'm hoping it gets even better, because I still had 1 or 2 yesterday that were that did break, but very small little fractures in the shell. So you know, part of homesteading really is just about troubleshooting and trying to figure out First of all, what is the problem? Sometimes you don't even know what the problem is. I mean, you know you have an issue, but you don't really know why. And then figuring out how to fix that problem. So hopefully this, this worked for us. So I'm gonna let them in, let them eat, and then we'll get to some other things. I don't know who laid this egg, but it had to have hurt. This is a good size comparison. Okay, we're down in our grow room, and I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of what we've got going on down here, kind of our setup and what works for us. All right, first things first, check out this new brooder Tom made me. I love it. We have room for all of our new chicks coming through here, and even room for some turkeys. Now, if you know us, you know that we don't eat meat, so these guys are not food, they're just friends. So here's a look at some of our started plants. We have peppers, tomato, eggplant, onions, lettuce, some herbs, flowers. And we were getting ready to do some more transplanting. I'll show you guys these ones here. These are Aunt Ruby's green German. And some of them are a little bit leggy. And when I say leggy, I mean where they have kind of a thin, long stem. Okay? Very common. What it is these guys are over here on the edge of where the light is. And so they're kind of stretching to get to the light. Don't worry if you have any leggy plants. A lot of the time they can be saved by just transplanting or running a light fan, or lowering your lighting down if that's an option for you. So never toss plants, especially leggy tomato plants. Tomato plants are a vine. As soon as a tomato plant gets knocked over, it tries to reroot itself. So it's not an issue. Actually, transplanting tomatoes is beneficial for the plant because it really works on that root system. I'm being very optimistic here and thinking that I'm going to get through an entire video when it's not nap time, but let's do it. Let's try. Real quick, before I jump into all these seeds, I wanted to say, before you get started, get yourself a journal. My Aunt Jana gave Tom and I this gardening journal several years ago. I write everything in it, from the variety of seed to the germination period, the sickness, like how well the plant did throughout the season, how good the harvest was on it. And also, I have 3 kids. They don't all like the same things. So I make sure to write down who liked what. That helps me next year kind of figure out, what I want to plant, what's worth my time in garden space. I also write in there too, because there anything with chicks or fence, if I got new fencing. We did garden expansion pretty much every year. We've done a garden expansion, so I write that in there. We also expanded the chicken run, so I wrote that in there. Anything that could be helpful for years to come for you, definitely keep track of it. And it's nice to look back on these things years later and just to see how far you've come. It really is amazing how much progress you can make in a short period of time. So that's my #1 tip there. Get yourself a journal. All right, let's dive right into the tomatoes here, okay? Because that's the one I am going to tell you pretty much majority of the varieties we're going to plant. San Marzano, blue cream berries, Dr. Witchy's. This is a nice beefsteak. You're definitely going to see a lot of beefsteaks with us because we really love beefsteaks. Indigo apple. We have planted black crim, and I've never grown this indigo apple, but it kind of reminds me of it with like the blush bottom and the black shoulders. So we'll see if that's really what I'm expecting. I don't know. We shall see. Green zebra. Very cool. Oh, Cherokee purple. My in-laws planted this last year. Did really well. They gave us tomatoes. So I figured we'd try it out. Martian giant. We are selling our started plants this year, so this was one of the ones I believe that I offered. Really because this is more of a classic tomato, and I have a lot of kind of weird varieties, and people really just like the classic tomato, so I wanted to not scare everybody off. So, Black Beauty, that is going to be very cool. I cannot wait for that. Also this, Brad's Atomic. I mean, look at those colors. Speaking of colors, check out Berkeley's tie-dye. Very cool. Orange accordion. I'm looking forward to orange accordion too. Tom is not a fan of anything that is like weird looking like this. Lines, holes. Like, he's not about it. So he saw this and he was like, I don't know. But I got plenty of other ones for him. So I thought this would be a fun one to try out. Can I help you? Okay. And then we have pineapple, and I want to just tell you a quick little aha about it. A couple years ago, my Aunt Janet had sent me her starts, which she does every year, and one of them had a little marker in it that said pineapple, and I thought, like, did she mess up the markers? Like, what is this? Anyway, grew this gorgeous beefsteak tomato, and we loved it. And I kept meaning to ask her, like, what was the name of it? Because in my mind, it never registered that the name of it might actually be pineapple. So it wasn't until I bought the seed, it came in, and then I was documenting everything in the computer that I realized it was the same time. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I'm trying to do a video here. I'm trying to do a video. I know. Sart Rollo-Weiss. I originally picked this one because it was so attractive looking, but after researching it, I found out that it had won a lot of awards for best flavor. So I am looking forward to this one. Green Giant. Aunt Ruby's German Green. Lots of beefsteaks. And then, let me see, then we have a couple others. I don't know if did I mention these yet? Then we also have a lot of saved seeds from, you know, previous years that I've held on to. Just, you know, this one I labeled as Bigger Cherry Tomato, Fairlight 2020. Tomato, Roma, question mark. A lot of my seeds look like this. Oh, here's Russian Black Crim. I saved so many seeds, and now I've kind of like, I've passed the torch on to Jackson, and he is now like my seed saver. So like, if he finds something that he likes, he just saves it, and he puts it aside, and he'll say, Mom, there's seeds over there. Okay, let's talk beets. I've always loved beets as a kid. And I hope there's other beet lovers out there. My family, they're just not beet lovers, and it's okay, but I still try to sneak it in when I can. And I almost have a weird obsession with beets. I just really like them, and my family not so much. The golden beets I am able to put in a lot of stuff because they're a little sweeter, they're easier to sneak in. But like Detroit red, like that classic red beet, it has a very earthy flavor, and you either like it or you hate it. So I have found too that these ones here, the shishugas, or candy stripes, what I refer to them as, these are good in like salads and stuff. So I sometimes I can get Jackson to eat them. Jameson, Ellie, no way. She won't eat that. But anyway, I grow them because I love them. I also plan to sell them. And Tom will eat them roasted. So that is a win to me. So I will grow them just for that. I found these albino beets from Baker's Creek. And the cool thing about this is, when I was reading about it, it said on here, white, fairly smooth, round heirloom from Holland. Sweet flesh, tasty greens, make your own sugar. What? As soon as I read this, I got on YouTube, and there are people making their own sugar out of beets. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try this. So I got that, and I didn't just get one. I got two, because, you know, why not? So then when I was looking for beets, I came across this mammoth red mango, and I'm like, I have to try this too. I mean, it says here it grows up to 40 pounds. What? I mean, look how much food that is. Like, I have to try it. I don't know if I will be able to grow something that large. I'm probably gonna have to add more sand to my soil for the beet section that I'm gonna do, especially if I'm gonna try to grow something this large. But I have to try it. I just have to, because I have to know if I can do this. And if I don't succeed, I'll probably do it another year too, just because. Let's see. Oh, cucumbers. We had a big cucumber section last year, did really well. We did lemon cucumber. Tom really loved those, and Jackson really loved those because they're smaller. You can kind of munch them in the garden. So I did miniature white this year. If I saved seeds, which I'm not sure if I bet you I did, for the lemon cucumber, I'll probably grow some of those again, but I wanted to try some others. Here's a bush champion and a muncher. This is kind of like an English style cucumber. I grew Parisians last year among other ones, and I was not a fan, and that's mainly because they have like little prickers kind of on them, little thorns, and with little kids in the garden, I just didn't think it was really that great to have. They're trying to grab something and they get all these little thorns stuck in their fingers, so I try to grow stuff that's not gonna hurt my kids. So that one's out. Mexican sour jerkin, also known as cucamelons. I tried them experimentally downstairs. They did not grow. The germination period should be 7 to 14 days. I planted them 4 to 5 weeks ago and nothing. So it was just an experiment. I just wanted to see. I think that the soil temperature is just probably not warm enough for them. All right, and then we have peppers. We're doing the black pepper this year, which is very cool. I'm really excited about that. One of our started plants that we're offering people, a few of these are actually. Orange Bell is another one. Lilac. Let's see. Where's the other one? Mini Bell. We actually, one year, we planted this, did well outside. I actually potted it, brought it in, and it grew all winter long inside. Did really well until the cat ate it. So I'd like to try doing that again this year. Pull something out and see if it overwinters inside. Also, we're doing habanero. This is the only hot pepper I'm doing this year as of right now. Tom's the only one that eats hot. I'm not a big fan. Let's see, what else? I am growing a lot of squash this year. We don't love zucchini, but I mean, I use it. It's nothing that everybody's have to have it. But I feel like I might have to have it this year just because we're selling a lot more this year, and I think that people will be looking for zucchini and yellow squash. So I'm gonna plant it, but what I am gonna do is succession plant because these are always my first plants to get sick in the garden. So as soon as I have a few leaves on it, I'm gonna throw in some more. They're quick to germinate, so I'll just throw in new seeds every couple of weeks so we can harvest this all summer long. Also, I'm gonna do acorn squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash. Butternut squash I absolutely love. It's super versatile. I put it in everything. At some point I will definitely do a video on recipes for butternut squash. My family's plant-based mainly. Sometimes we eat dairy, very, very rarely. And I don't buy it when I grocery shop. Our exception is like when we have pizza night or something like that. So if I'm making macaroni and cheese, butternut squash is definitely the base of that sauce. 1,000 head, that looks pretty cool. So we're gonna try this too. Our kids really like kale chips, and also we like to juice. I don't love kale cooked, but I will put it in soups. So either way, and I know people in my area like kale, so I think it's a good one to plant. We're also doing a bunch of different lettuce. Happen to have this freckle one right here, but there's plenty of other lettuces that we're doing this year. Come here. Oh, this red Malabar spinach is very cool. It's a vining spinach. Very pretty. I've seen it grow on trellis for other people. I'm definitely planning on doing this. Oh, I forgot to mention before, when I was talking about the beans. We did last year a yard-long bean, and it took me forever to find these because I was really trying to source out a non-GMO variety of yard-long beans. And I finally found them. Mom made me a trellis. Absolutely beautiful. Problem is, we used mainly white birch branches because I think it's super beautiful. So the problem being, we use very thick branches, and the beans had a hard time growing up it. By the time I realized it and I put some string up in between to help it, it was kind of too late. It already stunted its growth and it had already started to flower. So once it started to flower, it was done growing the actual plant, and it was now starting to grow beans. So I had all these yard-long beans growing all over the ground. This year I know what I did wrong, so I'm not gonna make that mistake again, and hopefully we'll have beautiful, long beans. So we did garbanzos last year, and it was actually very cool because the way that they grow is like in a little pod, and then the garbanzo or chickpea grows inside of it. And it was actually like really cool to see because Tom and I had no idea. It almost looks like a fern, and then it has these little pods. And like we were like, wow, this is so cool. And we were actually really excited for the harvest on it. But I think it was chipmunks like ate the entire section, and it was like we planted a lot of them. So it was a lot. And then later on when we were digging up garlic, we found a whole bunch of these shells buried in that area. So he must have been like storing stuff over there. So I don't know if I really want to plant these because I don't know if I want to invite the chipmunks back. But I don't know. I really want to try them again. They were really cool. So I don't know. I have a few left, so I might try it. We'll see. So for carrots, Jackson, my middle child, loves carrots. And last year was our first successful year growing carrots. We brought in a lot of sand because we have so much clay in our soil. We really needed the sand. Carrots like a lot of drainage, and they like loose soil. So, you know, we did really well last year. And I was actually pulling carrots out of the garden, let's see, late spring, summer, fall, and winter. Christmas dinner, I believe, had carrots from the garden. We did really good with carrots last year. I was really excited about it. So Jackson really likes them, so I was like, let's do more carrots this year. So I did, I plan on planting a lot of different varieties. Let's see, got some colorful ones, baby carrots. I also did Black Nebula and Pusa Aceta. These two are dark carrots. They have a lot of anthocyanins, antioxidants, really like a superfood. We do a lot of juicing, so these will be perfect for juicing. And then we love roasted carrots, so that's probably what I'll do with a lot of them. But also, not these ones, but some of the other ones. I probably won't want to do purple for that, but I do a lot of vegetable stock and I freeze it, and one of the biggest components of the vegetable stock is the carrots. And I plan to do a lot more vegetable stock this year, so I definitely wanted a lot of carrots. Also, these guys here, I'm gonna try to pronounce that. I saw these on Baker's Creek's website, and the other ones that they showed looked even longer. And I just kind of wanted to see if we could grow these, because I know how hard we've worked to grow carrots in the past, and I didn't know, I just don't know we'll be able to grow carrots this long, but I just thought it would be kind of fun to try. So we got these guys too. I also have some other carrot varieties that are just regular, your regular orange carrot. This year I am trying okra for the first time. I don't know how well it's gonna do here in the Northeast, but you know, I figured we'd try it out and see how it does. No harm in trying, right? Last year we did a lot of beans. This year I'm doing the same thing. I did a lot of bush beans, and I also did a lot of pole beans. So I plan to do the same thing. Last year we did these purple potted ones. They did really well. I'm not gonna do the bush variety purple, but I am gonna continue the pole variety. I thought that they did better. Plus, I'm also planning to trellis a lot of stuff this year, and I think that these will work really well for the trellis variety. It's not the kids, it's the animals. So let's see. Oh, I also did Sugar Daddy and Alaska peas. I actually already planted some of these. These say to sow in place like 4 to 6 weeks ahead of last frost date, which I'm actually even earlier than that, because our last frost date is in May, and we're mid-March right now, so I'm a little bit ahead here, but I'm not too concerned with it. I have lots of extras, so I'm not really worried about it. Tomatillo, purple and green, and also ground cherries. Never grown them. I have a customer who regularly buys eggs from us, and she loves ground cherries, so I was super excited when I heard she liked them, because I had already bought the seeds. So I'm excited to have that to offer her. Oh, stevia. My mother-in-law grew this, and she gave me a piece of it. It was good. This you use in place of sugar, so I wanted to grow my own this year. Some other things. Loofah. I thought this would be fun to try, so I got a couple packs of these. That's something that's going to be trellised. I love growing on trellises, and this year we're adding a lot of structure to the garden. It's the best way to maximize your space. I mean, our garden is a decent size, but even still, if you can grow vertically, you really can double or triple your square footage in the garden. So especially people who are growing in smaller spaces, I really recommend trying to do some sort of trellising to maximize your space. This year too, we're growing quinoa. Being a mainly plant-based garden, plant-based family, we grow, we eat a lot of quinoa. So I figured we would try growing it this year. And this one is really pretty. I really was thinking to myself, even if we don't get a good harvest off of it, at least it'll be nice to look at. So this probably won't even go in the garden. I'm planning on, we're going to do a lot of flowers around the garden, and I think that this might be somewhere on the outside. Baker's Creek actually forgot this in my order, so they sent me 3. I definitely don't need 3, but I will probably plant 1 and keep the rest. First year doing moons and stars though, I thought that would be a pretty cool one to try. Last year we grew watermelon, but they didn't get very big. They were smaller, so I'm going to look into how to fertilize them, because I they were stunted for some reason, and I think that was part of, there was something missing that they needed. So I'm going to look into that. Also, cantaloupe, honeydew. There was another melon that I wanted to try. Oh, Kajari. And I've been trying to get it from Baker's Creek. And every time I go on there to get it, they're sold out. So I'm going to keep trying on that. And then, lastly, that I wanted to talk about was flowers. Now, keep in mind, we are selling fresh cut flowers this year, so I justified buying all these seeds. Tom thought I didn't have enough flowers last year, so I was like, fine, I got you, I heard you. So I sourced every single one that I could, that I liked. Anything that caught my eye, I was like, well, I'm gonna buy it. So I'm not gonna mention all of them, just a few nasturtiums. I've never grown, but they're medicinal, or at least edible. I think they're medicinal also. But anyway, I wanted to grow these. I thought it'd be pretty in the garden, and oh, Mongolian giant. I want to try. Baker's Creek showed a video where they roasted a whole sunflower head, and it looked really good. It kind of reminded me of like an artichoke, and I really wanted to try that. And also, the back of our garden butts up to our neighbor's fence, and I like to kind of separate us. Last year I grew our corn mainly on that side, and this year I'm thinking I'm going to do sunflowers on that side to kind of give us some separation. So I did get actually a lot of, there's some other sunflowers that I got. My in-laws, they planted the mammoth one last year, so we got the seeds for that. Calendula, this is a medicinal one. I actually buy a diaper cream made from calendula for my youngest son, so I'd like to be able to do it myself. Oh, here's some more sunflowers, Henry Wild. Tom also wanted, he picked out some flowers, and he wanted ones mainly for that the bees and the butterflies really liked. So actually this calendula is from that packet. There was a few in there that that came with. We planted zinnias this year downstairs, and marigolds. We're selling 6 packs of those. I have tons of different types of zinnias. Oh, I really liked these too. I'm just gonna mention these. The Cosmos. And then I also picked up a lot of different poppies. A ton of different poppies. I don't know why, they just caught my eye this year, but they did, so. Every time I thought I was done buying poppies, they're just, another one popped up. So I bought it. There you go. Check this one out. This one has those huge pods. So, I don't know, that was kind of cool. And then, really the last one I'm gonna mention, there's just so many, are pansies. This is another one that we are offering in 6 packs. My Aunt Janet used to make cupcakes, and she used to put them on top, and I still remember it, so that's just kind of one of those things that I just wanted to grow myself. Maybe this gave you some ideas on different things that you want to grow. Always check your zone, your last frost date, your first frost date, and plant accordingly. You know, really do your homework and see what works for your area, and also try to figure out, you know, what is it that you're gonna eat, because I know a lot of the time people feel like, because everybody's selling tomatoes and peppers, and I feel like people will grow that just because they feel like that's what you grow in a garden. You grow what you like. Don't get caught up in the other things. Just pick things that you like and you know your family's gonna eat. Will I ever get through one video? Will it ever happen? Testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. What? I have a friend friend here. He's very distracting. Seed variety to seed germination. You're so distracting, you know that? I don't even know what I'm gonna say. You're just so distracting. Nice, doggy. Do nice. Are you doing?